Hey everyone, welcome. Okay, we've got the jobs report coming up within the next 3 minutes. So just some expectations, and we'll briefly look at the market here as we get started. My expectations and market expectations, let's start with those. So market is thinking that this jobs report is going to come in anywhere between 400,000 jobs to 750,000 jobs. I think consensus is right around 725,000 via Bloomberg. Other consensus is, that's plural, sit around 700,000 jobs. We do expect the unemployment rate to go down to 5.2% from 5.4%. I personally think this jobs report is it has some potential to make a mess. If it comes in super low, like the ADP numbers have forecasted the last 2 months, then I think we're actually going to see a little bit of a rally, because that'll be the nail in the coffin for the taper happening in September, or starting in September. So if we come in under 500,000, and then almost certainly if we come in under something like 300,000, I don't think we're going to see that. Then that's the nail in the coffin for the taper. If we that's funny. And the little Bloomberg thing says C5. So maybe that'd be like C 500,000. But it's C like an ocean, and I can't really see it. Whatever. It's focus. It's not worth trying to focus right now. SEA5. So it's almost like it's saying C 500,000 or C a 5% employment rate. Ooh, which if that's the flip side, is if we get some really crazy beat, like 1 million jobs or something insanely high, then we're going to see 10-year treasuries go up. We'll probably see high valuation stocks get hurt. I personally think there's more like a 70% chance this jobs report is a non-event. So 70% chance that we're going to end up, in my opinion, seeing something like 500 to 750,000 jobs, and this is going to be a non-event. Now, there's that 15% chance of a miss to the bottom side, I think, or 15% chance to the top side. We'll see. All right, let's go ahead and get it up. So it's going to come up here. All right, employment situation. So let's have it ready. All right, I'm excited. All right, let's see. All right, here's the time. Okay. Oh, what? We only went up by 235,000 jobs? You gotta be kidding me. That's a big miss to the bottom side. That's horrible. 235,000 jobs. That's a big old miss to the bottom side. That's so crazy. That's part of that 15% chance to the bottom side. That's good for stocks. The unemployment rate still went down to 5.2%, but that is a big blow to the downside. Whoa! I wonder what 10 years are doing. But let's go ahead and go through this. Whoa! Okay, that was unexpected. This is the nail in the coffin for the taper, folks. There's no way the taper's happening in September now. 10-year Treasury yields just plummeted on that. As expected, they're at 127 now. That's a plummet. Added 134,000 jobs in the prior 2 months. Average hourly earnings rise 0.6%. The estimate was 0.3%. That's a little bit more expensive. That's a little more pricey in terms of hourly wages going up. Let me go ahead and pull this so I can do annotations on this. Wow, that's a miss to the downside. Labor participation rate is flat, so no benefit there. Hold on, let me get this darn thing up here, but I've got the notes on it here. We've got this is a big miss. This is kind of incredible, much weaker than the forecast, and like I say, this in my opinion is the nail in the coffin for the taper happening in September. I personally think that paves the way for Delta for sure. I think this paves the way for what's it called, well, not just waiting on a taper, but also paves the way for potentially a rally in September and October. So, okay, let's go through the details of it. Yeah, this is much lower than expected. All right, come on here. There we go. So, okay, here we go. 235,000 unemployment rate still declined by 0.2% to 5.2, which is what we were expecting. But yeah, that's crazy. Okay, let's see. These are worker groups. Look at that. The white unemployment rate was 4.5%, while the black unemployment rate is still super high at 8.8%. Hispanics at 6.4%. That's a big difference there. Geez, that's almost double. If you're black, you're almost twice as likely to be unemployed. That's crazy. The number of permanent job losses declined by 443,000. This measures considerably. Okay, let's see. I want to get some other data here. Labor force participation rate was unchanged. Not ideal. Wanted to kind of see that go up as well. So this is a much weaker report than expected. The number of persons employed part-time for economic reasons was essentially unchanged. Persons who not in the labor force who currently want a job declined by 835,000, but remains higher than the level. And those not counted as unemployed because they were not actively looking for work the last 4 weeks or were unavailable to take a job. So if you weren't looking in the last 4 weeks, you kind of fall off the chart. So what else do we have? Among these, the number of persons marginally attached to the labor force decreased by 295. And this is having looked sometime in the last 12 months, but not in the last 4 weeks. So you're still getting people kind of falling off these measures here. 13.4% of people teleworked. Okay. During the pandemic, this was like 25%, and I remember it going down to 20%. Leisure and hospitality sector showed zero net job creation last month, according to the report. Wow. The jump in wages and flat participation suggests the shortfall in payroll gains is due to a lack of supply of workers. People just aren't ready to snap up jobs. Yeah, that's crazy. Previous month revision showed a bigger gap in payrolls, but nowhere near enough to make up for this shortfall. Yeah, huge shortfall. Let's see here. Big downside miss on headline job number. Yeah, we know. And that's going to be headline news like everywhere. Markets are showing a surprisingly mild reaction. Yeah. Okay, well, that's interesting. Let's see here. To me, this is a nail in the coffin for the taper here. At least as soon as we thought, because and the Fed even told us this. They said 2 very strong jobs reports, and we will taper. Well, this killed that. Okay, let's go over here. Let's see where people added jobs. Okay, so professional business services increased by 74,000. Architecture and engineering services rose by 19,000. Computer design and related 10,000. Research and development 7,000. Okay, that's good. Transportation and warehousing 53,000. That's good. Private education, we would expect this to go up, although government education went down by about 21K. That's interesting with back to school. But then you had larger gains in the summer. Okay. Manufacturing up 37,000. Service industries 37,000. Employment information 17,000. Financials 16K. Mining 6K. Retail trade. Whoa. Employment in retail trade declined by 29,000 in August, with losses in food and beverage stores of 23,000, building material and garden supplies of 13,000, and retail trade. Wow. So that's crazy to see a loss of 23,000 of food and beverage. This is what that slowing that we've been talking about. And I mean, I guess Delta makes sense of it to some degree. Let's see. Okay. Hold on. Let's see here. What else? Disappointed. The disappointing. Okay, here's just a news update. The disappointing payrolls report may bring additional fiscal stimulus. Historically, yeah, this could actually be good for the stimulus package happening. Historically, additional supply has little immediate effect on rates. Treasury. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, okay. So here's somebody on Bloomberg saying, although we don't think this data reduces the timing of the taper, I mean, I think it pushes it back to November instead of September. They go on to say it should help convince the markets that interest rates won't go up as soon. Yeah, I agree with that. But I still think the taper's not going to happen in September now. Okay, leisure hospitality was unchanged. What else? Drinking places. Entertainment and recreation went up 36,000, was more than offset by the loss in food and services of 42,000. Wow. Okay, employment, other industries like construction, healthcare, wholesale trade, little change. Average hourly earnings rose 17 cents to 30.73. That's larger than usual. This is that 0.6% here. Just make sure of that. So 0.70. Yeah. Hold on a second here. Yeah, if you round, that's right, because I got 0.55 of 8%. So if you multiply that by 12, it's a lot. That's a little hotter than expected. That's like a 7.2% increase in annual pay. So you're definitely seeing a little bit of a push there. Wow, that was incredible. That's very, very, very low. All right, so wow, that kills the taper, IMO. So I am curious now how, if anything, has reacted in the stock market. Treasury yields now higher? What? They plummeted at first. Hold on a sec. 10-year. Oh my gosh. Yeah, look at this. That's kooky. That is so weird. Look at that. You have the 10-year plummeted, which was expected, but now it's higher, which is not expected. Let's see how Bitcoin is. Let's see, BTC USD. Oh, wow. Oh, Bitcoin loved this. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, probably because people expect more stimulus now. So look at that. You literally, right before the jobs report, we're at 49,900. And that's incredible. Yeah, it's an expectation of more stimulus. That $3.5 trillion package. So you got like this $1,000 boost there all of a sudden. It's a big reaction. How's ADA? Yeah, they all saw it. ADA saw it. Let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum saw it. Now they're sort of bleeding back a little bit, but that's very interesting. It makes sense though, because again, more stim would push that. Okay. So what's happening now? So we got Matterport down 1%, Mind Medicine down 1.7, AMC down 0.92. Hut 8 mining, well, it makes sense. They're up with Bitcoin. Tattooed's up 2.58. DocuSign's back up. They fell after their earnings. DocuSign now up 2.2%. Yeah, it doesn't look like you have a big move here at all. Oh well, Tesla went down, but not really after the jobs report. Just more recently here in the last few minutes. Let's go to Apple. Not Advanced Auto. AAPL. Yeah, what a weird curve. It's, you know what, this is a response to the Treasury yield. It's literally a response to the Treasury yield because the Treasury yield went down. So as the Treasury yield went down, stocks went up. And then all of a sudden, the Treasury yield did this weird thing where it started spiking. And as soon as it started spiking, stocks went down. That's funny. What a mess. That is a kind of disastrous payroll report, in my opinion. Let's see what they're saying.
Sure, we should read too much into these numbers because the two things that we've been saying would really get people back to work have been schools opening and the extended unemployment benefits ending. And neither of those things really are happening until right now, a couple weeks after when this survey took place. How much can you say, okay, let's just wait another month and we'll see what really happens?
So I actually think it is a waiting game. I think for the Fed, I think time's on their side. They can continue to wait. I think it's likely to be later in the year before they start to make a move on tapering. And they don't have to rush. In my opinion, I think inflation will also subside eventually, so they don't have to rush to make the tapering move. And in terms of the labor market healing that we'd like to see, that's also a waiting game because a lot of the action that we're seeing, and by the way, there's a lot of action, a lot of churn, a lot of job transitions. These are largely from people who have a job and are jumping to a job with, say, more flexibility or more wages, as we're seeing in the data. What we haven't seen yet is people coming off the sidelines as much as we would like. It's starting, it's continuing, but I don't think that full pull will happen until we know kids can stay in school 5 days a week, until we see the effects of the unemployment benefits maybe being pulled away after a couple of months. I mean, the labor market's complicated, and it's going to take a couple of more cycles before we see the full healing. But I do think we're on the course for recovery. There's no doubt about it.
So, Kate, from a stock market perspective, what does this mean? Does this change anything that you would be telling investors right now?
No, not really, Becky, because I actually think we've been really focused on...
Turn that mic down, okay? And blowing hot into that one.
And I think that's really kind of playing out here in the labor market as well. Heard Neela talk about the bus.
Oh, they fixed it for her. Good.
Workers. We don't have supply, whether it's in the supply chain or inventories across a variety of different industries. This is something that companies have been talking about consistently over the course of the summer. They've talked about it during earnings calls, when they've communicated with investors at other times. And there does really seem to be a limitation, or at least a headwind, to progression in economic growth due to supply side constraints. If it was demand side, I think I would be more worried and more concerned about how the equity market would interpret it. But for right now, as long as we know that we'll be able to work through some of these issues over coming months and quarters, I think some of the supply chain stuff, for example, in semiconductors will take quarters, not just months. As long as we can work through that over the period, going into the end of the year and the beginning of 2022, the equity market should look through this. We still see upside to the equity.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't think they get it. They're so like, oh, don't worry, it's going to be good in the long run. Like, the market's going to be fine in the long run. Everything's good. We're still growing fine. Hello? This was a disastrous miss. This has big implications for the Fed's action on the taper. I think this, like I said, is the nail in the coffin for the taper happening in September. The next FOMC meeting is September 22nd. I am willing to place bets, like 90+%, that they are not going to taper until November 3rd. So that way it's still this year, but it's delayed. But it's also entirely possible that if Delta is ravaging in November, they'll delay then too. And so what's going to happen then is the stimulus package that we have, the big old massive stimulus package, that $3.5 trillion, that's going to be a lot more interesting, more likely to get pushed through IMO. So yeah, this is very interesting, but also the market's reaction to this. I don't understand why the 10-year Treasury is doing this. This is very weird. The only reason for the 10-year Treasury going up like this, the only reason would be the rate at which wages went up. See, because so few jobs got filled, it potentially sends a fear to the market that there's going to be job-based inflation. And that has to do specifically with this right here, which is where we see that payrolls went up 0.6%. Which annualized is about 7.2%, which is very high. Last month, this was at 2.4%. At 7.2%, this could lead to potentially a higher CPI reading in terms of wages. So we'll have that, though, before the meeting. CPI comes out on the 14th. It's possible that we could see those. We could see that wage inflation have a big impact because it's so hard to actually hire people right now. So, looking at the market itself, little surprised that you've got Roku down 3.1% here, Alibaba's down again, AMC down a little bit. Towards the upside, you've really got Hut 8 Mining, DD was way down yesterday. DQ is the Chinese stock doing well yesterday. What is interesting as well is the Bitcoin shoot up we had of about $1,000. It looks like Ethereum's on its way to $4,000 a coin. I think Bitcoin is really moving here because this is just definitionally a perfect reason for more stimulus, and crypto's gonna love that. Wow. Okay, so then we have. Let's look at some press on this. So looks like the Dow. I mean, the indices are mostly flat here. All right, let's see it. Yeah, jobs report disappoints. Let's see what they actually wrote in here. Okay, we already know a lot of this. Okay. Hold on one sec. Yeah, no, this is very good for crypto. I would follow the stimulus news for crypto. Okay, what else? So, let's see here. Now, we already covered all this. There was really nothing in this. All right, what is this guy saying? Inflation could repeat the 1960s when the Fed lost control. So 1960s, the Fed had a lot of control until about 1966, which is when they started losing control. And that kind of helped lead to the disaster of the 70s, particularly because they got rid of, Congress also got rid of some of the price ceilings. But let's see what we have here. Inflation could be repeating the trajectory of the late 60s, yeah, which laid the foundation for high sustained prices in the following decade, in the 70s. Exactly. Fergus, it's almost like I knew that. Ferguson told CNBC on Friday that policymakers are facing a new challenge in the form of rising inflation as the result of responding to COVID. What is interesting about disasters is that one can lead to another public health disaster to an inflationary disaster. Yeah, but no history ever shows that after a pandemic, you end up having hyperinflation. I mean, the general response to pandemics is always deflation. And when we put, you put together the history of pandemics, all of them, you get the same pattern over and over again. So I don't know, maybe Ferguson, quote, this time is different. or not Ferguson, whatever this person's name is. What's this person? Oh, it is Ferguson. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Inflation liftoff would be a problem, he says. How long is transitory? At what point do expectations fundamentally shift? My sense is we are not heading for the 70s, but we could be rerunning the late 60s. Okay, that's interesting. Where the Fed lost control of expectations. All right. He added to the list of unsettling parallels between the 2020s and the perfect storm of factors that led to high inflation in the 70s. Oh, well, buy some real estate to hedge them stongs. Real estate's a nice inflation hedge, by the way. In case you're not in real estate, it's worth knowing that. A lot of people in stocks, and I get it, don't love real estate because it's like, oh, real estate, lower returns, is generally the perception. But you get some below market value stuff, and then you get that leveraged appreciation without, the risk of margin. Some benefits there. Visa August U.S. payments were 30 points above 2019 levels, but fell slightly from July. I went to a convenience store in a probably, I think the neighborhood is like 70% Hispanic, and I went to the convenience store and talked to the clerk, and said, so how many people, because he asked me credit or debit when I gave him my card. And I'm like, ew, debit, gross. And he's like, oh, well, a lot of people buy, buy with debit. And I said, how many people would you say buy with debit? And he's kind of like, oh, I don't know, a lot. And so I'm like, is it like 5 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10 who pay with a card? And he said, oh, 9 out of 10. I'm like, oh my gosh, 9 out of 10 paying with debit in his store. And then I said, how about cash? How often are people paying with cash? Like 5 out of 10? He's like, yeah, 5 out of 10. I'm like, wow. In his neighborhood, you've got most people who are using a card, like almost all people are using a card using debit, which is a big mistake. You should always be using credit. Then 50% of people are using cash. And then I asked him, is it only the white people who pay with credit cards? And he says, yes. I'm like, okay. Wow. Yeah. So we got some work to do. But the debit card's got to go. Cash got to go. That's crazy. So anyway, no, the numbers don't have to add up because I said of the people who pay with card, 9 out of 10 are debit, right? Of the total people, 50% pay cash is what he said. So I thought that was very interesting. I think that showcases a little bit of a gap in financial education in that particular area where I was. So yeah. All right. What else? Let's see. So why? I'd love to know why. Why would you pay cash for almost everything? You can't do chargebacks. You get no protection from your bank. It's harder to track for your write-offs and your expensing. You don't get rewards points. Why? Was a liquor store and a gun shop on every corner too? Well, I don't know. It was like 10 o'clock at night, so I didn't see any gun shops. Steve. All right, I'm gonna walk away from this discussion. So what do we got? DD. All right. I mean, the numbers right now are surprisingly boring, like in stonks here, with the exception of crypto. This jump here is kind of fun to look at. CNBC doctor just said Delta will hit hard post Labor Day. Oh yeah. I don't really. And that was on CNBC. Habit, I guess. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's honest. Campaign's great. August. Hold on. Is there a doctor on here? Hold on. Doctor?
If we are seeing people not going back to work, despite all of the help wanted signs everyone is seeing in so many shops and restaurants and service industries, if we're not seeing that, how can the solution be for the Fed to buy more Treasury securities, more agency mortgage-backed securities? I mean,
that's an interesting argument. Like, why would you continue to not taper with the jobs issue here? Well, it's interesting. Let's keep listening to what she says, and then I'll comment.
It's amazing that Chair Powell is up for maybe another term, and the far left don't think that he's actually dovish enough. And in your piece yesterday, I liked one of the comments, and that is the Fed is in there benefiting people not who live off paychecks, but people who live off portfolios.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
If you accept that premise, and if the Fed ever looked closely enough at really what the end effect of some of its actions are, they would not want to do that. They would not want to, but by default, when you stay at zero, people that own stuff, their assets go up, and everybody else is sort of stuck in the muck. And if
good morning, GCH. So yeah, well, look, the reason I think the Fed would delay their taper is because whether you like it or not, tapering is restrictive. It constrains the economy. It provides less inexpensive capital for banks to play with and for businesses to play with. So I'm not convinced that just because buying treasuries and mortgage-backed securities does not directly help people get jobs, the Fed's going to suddenly stay on target with tapering. I'm not convinced with that one, Judy.
Think of people on fixed incomes who now have to contend with inflation. And I do think that the increase in wage gains does filter ultimately into inflationary pressure, even if we do see that the Fed is now likely to delay tapering till further later in this year.
Yeah.
So these people are punished. I don't think they're the ones who have great sway on Capitol Hill. And I just think that we can't have monetary policy that seems to be rigged in favor of big government, big corporations, big investors at the expense of people who have tried to do the right thing and be responsible for the retirement years, or to take advantage of, not advantage, it wasn't intended, but think of people who want to buy a house, those same low-income workers. The median price of a home is now $375,000. So even with rock-bottom mortgage rates, that does not make it affordable because it has pushed up the price of housing. And these things matter. The price of gas, these things matter to people who are working and who don't have time to be glued to their screens every time a Federal Reserve official gives some hint about their future actions.
Whoa, Judy, that sounds like a diss.
Markets who benefit from that, and it makes it worth it to them to pay attention to every nuanced statement.
Yeah, Judy, we only have about less than a minute left. Do you see any possibility when you do this long enough, it's tough to stop and it's tough to get out. Do you see any way to get out of this corner that maybe the Fed has painted itself into? Every time we have a bad number, they feel like, oh no, we got to do more. It's our fault. How do they get out? You optimistic?
I'm not optimistic. I think they're in a bad position because since 2008, they've retained this emergency power of being able to pay interest on reserves. So if inflation were to get out of hand, they only have this very blunt instrument, the administered rate, and they would effectively be paying banks not to lend. I think through creeping incrementalism, the Fed has worked itself into a bad position. And that's why I'm saying Congress at some point has to assert some responsibility.
Great. We'll put our faith.
Well, yeah, Congress exerting some responsibility. Okay. All right. Look, we might not be totally off on with agreeing with her here, because remember what she said. The Fed is now likely to delay tapering, and Congress basically needs to get off their butt and do something for the people who want or need help, the lower wage earners. I couldn't agree with that more. I think those two things are right on. The things in between, she's right. Like buying more bonds doesn't directly go to helping people at the bottom. That's why Congress needs to do something. Houses are very expensive, and she's right. Easy money helps rich people, basically people with assets. So she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Low street estimates of some 720.
Yeah, you got me. You got me. Congress accepting responsibility and doing something. I know. By the way, somebody else, I saw it somewhere, but I wanted to respond to it. Somebody was saying they don't think the credit card rewards will matter because their reward points will be too small or whatever, so that's why they buy debit. I don't carry a debit card, and I don't use a debit card for the sole reason that if you get skimmed, like you swipe your debit card or whatever, and you get skimmed, and they steal your info or they steal your card and somehow they know your PIN, or they get your PIN or whatever, or they get your debit card and then they use it as credit, right? Which still goes through as a debit transaction. You're not as protected. So you lose that money first, and then the bank investigates and maybe gives you your money back. With a credit card, you dispute that if it's fraudulent, they give you your money back right away, and then they investigate. So that sole reason right there alone, like that fraud protection is so much better on a credit card. And it makes no difference to you. You're, in my opinion, 10x better off using a credit card than ever using a debit card. But anyway, that was interesting. I appreciate that. No, this is exactly what not to do. No, the online is the worst place to use your debit card. I'm not trying to single you out. I'm just saying, like, in terms of that fraud risk I just talked about, that's even worse. Yeah. Are you on the hook for that if they use it as credit? Well, yeah. I mean, like, if you have a debit card and they use it as credit, it just processes through the Visa merchant. But it's still going out of your bank account right away, right? And so, like, there is still fraud protection. It's just the order of how you get your money back sucks. Like, you could have that money lost for 60 days until they investigate, right? So it's all crypto in the future anyway. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. If you use a virtual number, that's good. That's good. You got me. That's good. That's good. Yeah. This is also true. You have the risk of what's it called? The debt issue. It's kind of like people who go into margin on stocks, right? People who go into margin on stocks. It's like once you dip your toe, you're all in. Then there's a problem. Yeah, that's fair. All right. Let's see here. Well, it depends. Like, usually I use credit cards to tip at like restaurants or whatever. But like if I'm walking around and I just want to tip like a door person or something like that, you can't pull out Cash App. Like you have to have cash. So I like just having singles, lots of singles. Richard Hart. I don't know who that is, but happy looking at it. I don't know that small business owners will have larger processing fees for debit. Debit processing. That's interesting. And then we're going to look at this Delta Mu variant here. Because credit cards are usually like, what, 2.9% or something like that? Let's see. I'm curious, but I also can't really find the fees right now. That's complicated. Oh, Visa small ticket. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Visa small ticket. Oh, but plus 5 cents. They make it so complicated. I'm going to look into that. That is interesting. They do make it very complicated. Debit card processing fee wasn't. Oh my gosh, it's a lot to look into. So I can't respond to that one yet. All right, let's look at this Mu thing. That is an interesting idea. We use a separate debit card for X for every 2 weeks. Money locks up, not big deal. Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, hey, you could do that with the credit card and then pay it off, right? But all right. I love margarine on myself. Okay, now we're going into a margarine debate. You know, I thought we got rid of margarine once we realized there were like trans fats in it. Well, then again, now you have the trans fat free margarines. But yeah, after the whole trans fat hydrogenated corn oil disaster of margarine, I switched to butter. Yeah, exactly. Butter better, which is so ironic because margarine was supposed to be healthier, but then ended up being a disaster. So, okay, let's take a look at the Washington Post, which, I don't know. Somebody sent a message to Helene at the Washington Post and tell her to be nice to me. Coronavirus variant known as Mu, which was designated. I almost said it was designed by the World Health Organization. Oh my gosh. Anyway, which was designated by the World Health Organization as a variant of interest. Dr. Fauci says it was not an immediate threat, but we're keeping a close eye on it because 99% of cases are the Delta variant. The Mu variant has a constellation of mutations that indicate potential properties of immune escape. Yeah, I have no idea what that means, but I think it means that. Further studies are needed whether the variant will be resistant to COVID vaccines. Yeah, see, that would be very bad. And now 3 shots are going to be required to be resistant. Okay, yeah. That would be not so good. Mu variant vaccines. Yeah, I got to get that 1337. Oh, no. Oh, man. Whipped butter is legendary. Yeah, there you go. I agree. Spreadable butter. Well, you know how to have spreadable butter? You leave it outside of your refrigerator. Stop putting your butter in the fridge. You put it in your little butter tray, and then it's always perfect. Butter's just fat. It doesn't spoil like milk. It's just the fat. It's great. Yeah, so you want spreadable butter. That's the way to do it. All right, so I don't know. I'd love to see another headline or another thing here on Mu. Something recent would be nice. I don't know. Let's see if I get anything in the past hour. Yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, in England. New Mu variant of COVID feared to be more vaccine resistant than previous strains. Feared to be. Okay, so not certain yet. Butter spreads, better wear your mask. Oh my gosh. Thoughts on Apple producing cars? Good luck. It's going to take a while. You know, like the worst is when you go to Cheesecake Factory and they give you the refrigerated little packets of butter. And it's like, I can't get this through. It's bad. Anyway, some 47 cases of Mu have been detected in England, according to a briefing on Friday. No deaths have been attributed to Mu. The report confirmed there are 4 current variants of concern, Vox, and 8 variants under investigation. Oh, Mu. Oh, look at that. Eta. Eta has more cases than Mu. Lambda has less, though. Huh. Oh, what a disaster. All right. Preliminary data suggests it could evade human immune defenses in a similar way the beta variant first discovered in South Africa. However, more investigations need to be done. Yeah, whatever. That's what they always say. We got a Pokemon virus. Oh my gosh. I don't know what CRO is, but yeah, no, I know Bitcoin did a nice little jump there. Can you say a one-liner on C3AI future? I did not love the earnings call. Did not like it. I don't know. I encourage you to read it. There's my one-liner. Check out the chart for Blockbuster and Sears for bankrupt companies. I don't know that I want to. Blockbuster. See, it doesn't even come up. No, it's Blackline. Blockbuster. Doesn't even. What's the ticker? Sears Holdings, maybe? Or Sears? I don't know. Well, should look into changing regulations so 3 printing houses isn't so dang near impossible. Oh, I know. Isn't there one Blockbuster left? C3AI and Google do have a partnership. All right. So let's see pre-market here. Hut 8 mining. Of course, it's running. We've been watching this since like $3.30. Kicking butt with the crypto rotation. It's just been straight green for HUD. It's been crazy. Metamaterials, momentuming up again. Marathon Dig, 3.34. Riot blockchain coming back to life. Faraday Futures, DocuSign, Invite, EXPI, Arcimoto. Well, pretty flat here. It's almost like the market gave up some gains in the morning. See, we've got, Build-A-Bear rotating down, Roku down, AMC down 1.5-ish, Dave & Buster's 1.35. I could see recovery stocks going down. There go the Chinese stocks again, DQ, JD. Matterport. Okay, moving on. Yeah, GameStop, Leo, Delta, Marriott. It makes sense that recoveries are going down. I don't think the Mu is something to be worried about just yet, but it's probably something that people are going to start freaking out about. Let's look at trends. Mu variant. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it got like a tiny little day of attention. Let's go to 7 days. I mean, it's growing. It's growing in attention. It's last 30 days. Oh, okay, whatever. So that's that. Let's go jump on over to some news. All right. Hiring slows sharply, complicating Fed taper. Talked about that a lot. Still think it's crazy that bonds are moving the way they are. Look at that. It's that rate of wage growth that freaked the market out here. So unexpected. Okay. European shares pause as well. I mean, they got the jobs report, so time to change that one. Oh, did y'all hear? Florida is looking to pass a copy and paste version of the Texas abortion law, the bounty hunter law. There's going to be some law firms that are going to get freaking rich off these bounty hunters. It'll cost them nothing to do it. They could copy and paste the lawsuits. They could extort people. Go, look, we could go through the whole process and you could pay $10,000 plus all my attorney fees, which is their own fees. It's like billing for yourself. Or you could pay me an extortion fee of $3,000 or something like that. I'm not going to get involved in the debate on actual abortion because I respect that people in my audience have views on both sides. But in terms of the actual law, whoo, that is an insane law. Oh my gosh. All right, we talked about Manchin and the pause. What else? Okay. City. All right. Let's go to Barron's. Okay. Thank you for the $10 to say to contact this person. I will note it. California bill to decriminalize psychedelic drugs delayed until next year. Would this hurt MindMed? Well, I just don't think it'll hurt. Or I don't think it'll help the way hoped. LBS? Why? What's lumber doing? All right, let's see. LBS price. That's an interesting little curve. I wish they would get rid of this stupid box right here. They always do this. What if I just zoom out? Oh, there we go. No, they literally cover up that part of the chart. It's so dumb. Like, who programmed this garbage? But it is interesting. 575. So 575 just brings it. It's probably right here. But yeah, you definitely have a move up again. If this stupid dumb box wasn't here, it'd be like up here somewhere where my mouse is. Like, who in their right mind programs it like this? Like, this is stupid. Like, do you not check your work afterwards? It's just dumb. So dumb. All right. What else? Well, you could ask me in a political video, not in a video on the jobs report. Hey, you back off my diplomacy. I'm gonna come over there and I'll show you diplomacy. You think fintech will have positive or net reaction to rising 10-year? I think rising 10-year is bad for fintech. I think it's bad. Yeah. Kevin, I heard the CFO mention the. Oh, I'll have to check that out on Smile Direct. Thank you for that. I'll write that down. Smile Direct interview and Richard Hart. Okay, I put a little square here. All right. What else? No. No, Fox rescheduled me until next week. It wasn't a surprise. Just like, there's too much flooding. Let's see if they're even talking about the flooding. Watch, they're not. They're talking about stocks. Let's see. America's Newsroom. It's on commercial. See, we could have been in the commercial. All right. Let's go. Let's see what we got. Look, I mean, really, the big mover here of the day is crypto. I would love to find some dip opportunities. And I don't mean at the convenience store. I mean, like right here. Build-A-Bear is not, that's not enough of a dip here to actually do anything. AMC, same thing, 1.64%, big deal. Beyond Meat, whatever. Matterport, no biggie here. Very, very slow movement so far as we're waiting for the day to start. Let's go take a look at some indivs. Tesla sitting at 734. That's slightly up a little bit. Hard to say. For Google Trends are relative to that individual peak over time. Yes, correct. Yes, you are right. Made more money on Zoom than the course costs. Well, I mean, thank you. Yeah, that was we did a little for anyone who doesn't know. That's we did a trade on Zoom after it plummeted. I mean, Charles has done a really good job of injecting himself into the momentum culture. And I think it was very smart. And that's because I think he's a smart dude. Can you please explain your Owlet play? My Owlet play? Sure. So Owlet, I'll tell you really quick. Hold on a sec. Orders, history, Owlet. Okay, so I bought 1,000 options of Owlet for a price of 19 cents per option. And I bought 1,000 options of that. So 19 cents per option is 1,000 times 100 times 0.19 is $19,000, right? I then a day later sold the contract for 50 cents. No, it's more. It was 54 cents. 54 cents. That's $54,000. So $54,000 minus 19 is 35K gain, which is crazy on 19K. So that's explained. Yeah, that was a roulette spin in my opinion. But yeah, the last roulette spins have been very nice. The table's hot. You got to tip. Got to tip the dealer. I guess there's not really a deal. What do you call the person who spins the roulette wheel? Are they a spinner? I feel like that's potentially derogatory. They're not a dealer. Are they like a host or something? Are they the table? But that sounds weird. It's like, I can't call a person the table. They got to have some kind of name. Maybe somebody knows this. All right. The Fed is watching. Of course the Fed is watching. Okay, let's see here. The market maker. I like that. Economic headwinds won't hinder stocks because bad news is good for easy money. Also true. See, look what I'm talking about. See, Fox ain't talking about the flooding. They're talking about jobs. Where's Meet Kevin? We could easily be talking about jobs too. I could talk to you about jobs. I just talked about jobs for the last hour. See, instead of Mr. Laughing Dude here or Smiles on the right, you could have Meet Kevin. And what is this? Whatever. Forget you. All right. So a round of largely horrible economic data. Tuesday is hardly shaken. Mark Tuesday. What is this? Oh, this was August 31st. Oh, okay. This is older news. Yeah, this was the slowdown data, the economic slowdown data. We already talked about that. Stocks waver after a weak jobs report. Robinhood says it would challenge a ban on payment for order flow. Well, of course they would. What do you expect them to lie down and take it? No. I wonder if the stock is actually moving on that. I really doubt it because it's like such a duh. Yeah, no, it's not moving at all on that. All right. So roulette dealer is a croupier. I'll figure out how to pronounce that one. Croupier. Oh, PA. Croupier. Croupier is how you say it. That's close. A person in charge of a gambling table. Huh. Also historically, the assistant at a public dinner seated at the lower end of the table, not at the other end of the table, the lower end. Okay. Oh my gosh. When is boss gonna sponsor? I know, right? All right. So what do we think? We're gonna have a bloody day in the stock market. We got 7 days to go here. I'm sorry, 7 days to go. We got 7 minutes to go. Apple delays controversial plan to scan iPhones for child exploitation images. Yeah, that freaked out, I feel like, a lot of people. It's like, so you're saying if there are diaperless photos in my phone, you guys are gonna get weirded out? It's really awkward. It's like if you have kids, right? And they're your kids. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that one. All right. What else we got here? Consumers increasingly opting for fake wood decks. Well, duh. I mean, it's expensive, but it makes sense. No rot, no termites. But I mean, just opt for no deck. That's my preference. Who needs a deck? All right. Germany's election, whatever. We need news. I mean, we got jobs news. Market on steroids. Real estate boom. Yeah, well, that's true. Let's see. Images were known child porn that they were searching for, not the actual images. Oh, well, that's better. I think it just freaked out people like me who saw that and thought that. Because I read the article, but I maybe I didn't get the full update on that. So, well, thanks for that fact check. It's still like, it sounds like you can't blame the way it comes across. Oh, Apple's gonna search everyone's phones to look at their pictures to see if there are any naughty photos of children. Like, it just sounds a little bit, dare I say, invasion of privacy-esque. Can you please take a look at the Hex USD on Trade? Oh, well, I mean, like, I just don't, I mean, everybody's asking for crypto pushes and pumps here. I don't like doing that. You know, why are the jobs estimates so off? Yeah, why? I have no idea. I mean, Delta is, I guess, the only reason. And I mean, you look at the well, I guess why. I mean, it did say here. This was a problem. Employment in here. For those of you who weren't with me an hour ago when we did this. Article at the top of Yahoo: why Cathie Wood's growth stocks are set up for a September surge. It's Meet Kevin's September October rally. He's only been saying it forever. But okay, hold on. Before we put that up, let me see. Let me explain here really quick the jobs thing. Employment in retail trade declined 29,000 in August, with losses in food and beverage of 23,000. That was a big deal. And hospitality unchanged. So in those reopening sectors, really had a kind of disastrous reopening. Oh yeah, there it is. Why these Cathy Wood growth stocks are set up for a surge in September. Let's see. Cathy Wood has not been getting the views as of late. I don't know what's going on, folks. Are people just less interested in Cathy Wood? Based on our calculations, the average Robinhood user has outperformed the market in 4 of the past 5 quarters. What? This is Natasha from Cathy. Or yeah, I think it's Natasha. Maybe it's Natasha. Maybe. Let's go into here. Here it is. Look at this. Based on our calculations, the average Robinhood user has outperformed the market in 4 out of the past 5 quarters. That's awesome. Let's go. Let's go retail. That's good. Okay, so where were we? We were looking at Cathy Wood here. Let's see which ones. RK, as investors shift their money from growth opportunities to investments that might perform better during the country's ongoing recovery from COVID. RK and many of the stocks are struggling to generate much momentum. Twitter, they suggest. Twitter's been in a bit of a slump. Tesla, yeah, Tesla's been on a slump. Story continues. Zoom, Square, Robinhood. Oh, that's interesting. What did they say about Robinhood? Robinhood branches out into other forms of finances, including buy now, pay later cards. I think Vlad's army of 22 million users will become more powerful, says Jim Cramer. Buy now, pay later at Robinhood. That'd be interesting. I did not know they were thinking about that. Is that true? Buy now, pay later, Robinhood. I still don't think that really affects a firm because the firm's June 11th. Buy now, pay later is booming. I think this is just a story. And I know we have the opening bell here in 50 seconds here. I don't know if they're getting into it or they're just, yeah, I don't, that's interesting. I mean, that's at least what Jim Cramer thinks. But okay, let's get ready for the bell. It's kind of been a muted morning so far with the exception of crypto, I have to say. It's just like, meh. But I guess we'll see how the market opens. I don't know. Let's pull up AMC here. And we'll see how the market opens. All right, here we go. Y'all ready? Let's go ahead and open up. Oh, and remember to get yourself free stock with public.com. Up to $70 in free stock. Public.com. Go to metkevin.com/public. You can use my referral link. You can follow me at meetkevin at public. And they do not buy or sell your data. All right, here we go.
The last trading day of the week, the opening bell here at the MSC real-time exchange.
All right.
It was via SPAC corner, so I'm going to have more, by the way, on that SPAC.
Whoa, it's red.
And over at the NASDAQ biopharma company, Legend Biotech. All right, we want to get to some breaking news.
That's mostly red. That is mostly red. Keep in mind, you can also shop your insurance by going to metkevin.com/lemonade. Life insurance, pet insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance, and soon car insurance. Okay, I did it. All right, here we go. Just that headline is so bad. Apple delays plan to scan iPhones for child exploitation images. Like, just that headline alone is like, what? They're going to scan iPhones? It just sounds so, like, Orwellian, you know? Don't get me wrong. Child exploitation is very bad and wrong. But that, like, that Orwellian, like, feeling you get from that title is very interesting. Roku. Okay. It's just, I guess things are mostly red, but it's not like things are plummeting here. With the exception of, I mean, Poshmark's coming down a little bit. Let's see here. Like, let's go to the big ones. Tesla's vacillating. Tesla don't know what it's trying to do. Apple's going up. Hey, Apple's going up after saying they won't scan our phones. Let's go to Goog. Goog's flat. Amazon down. I don't know. All right. Well, Roku fell a little more. Oh, if you have not yet seen the Virgin Galactic story, it's worth talking about. So yeah, if you have not heard about what happened with Virgin Galactic, here's the scoop. Virgin Galactic celebrated this really, really successful flight, and they even had this marketing video at the beginning where Richard Branson comes riding up on a bike, which turned out to have been filmed like a week beforehand. So people are now like Virgin Galactic exposed. They're trying to mislead us or whatever. But the flight was more important because the flight, went up to space, or so it appeared, and then landed, and then they came out and they had their champagne and everybody's like, yay, party, whatever. And so it seemed really, really successful, and Virgin Galactic skyrocketed on this. Well, like 2 months later, yesterday, or maybe the day before. Anyway, the FAA comes out and says, wait a minute. Y'all didn't follow the flight plan. Like, you went into restricted airspace and you screwed up. You did not follow the flight plan, so something must have gone wrong. And then it turns out that the pilots during the Virgin Galactic flight ended up having some kind of issue where these yellow and red warning lights were coming on, suggesting that the aircraft wasn't able to get vertical enough to get to have enough momentum to properly re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and then land where they needed to. So they changed course midair, went into restricted airspace off the flight path, didn't tell the FAA, and still had their party, even though things actually went wrong. And so if you're wondering why Virgin Galactic almost just destroyed my iPad. And if you're wondering why Virgin Galactic's having a little bit of negativity or volatility lately and you have not heard that story yet, now you know. Oh, that kind of reminds me of those "Now You Know" Jamie Spears. Who remembers that? That's like a 90s thing. That was a long time ago. That's really weird. I can't believe I even said it. But anyway, what is happening today? Somebody says MMAT. Oh my gosh, this little twerp of a momentum stock is back at it again. Hey, there's your momentum. I mean, look at it. You can't really blame it. It's been green for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It has been green for 10 days in a row. That is the perfect way to get a momentum stock moving, because people love plowing money on stocks that have been green for a few days in a row. It's kind of like the tattooed chef. Look at that. This thing has been green for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 days in a row. People love buying stuff that's green. Or HUD 8. But then again, HUD 8 is very related to Bitcoin. And in fairness, I am on the average candlesticks, so that's not quite fair. But the trend has been up. That's better. Because if I went off the average candlesticks, you'd probably have some red in here, which is normal. But the trend obviously is up. So if I go to regular candle, see, look at that. It's still, the trend is obvious here, right? Okay, so you mix in a couple red. You know what I mean. Okay, so metamaterial is going to do its running today. Fine then. You've got DD. DD coming back after the dip yesterday. We've got, I don't know anything about Hex, so it's hard for me to do anything with it. Ethereum, almost 4K. Bitcoin, 50,700. MicroStrategy, C3AI, DocuSign 300. What else here? Ubiquity. This is so flat. There's like an air of boringness to this. Roblox, Pinterest down. Invite, CRISPR, Clever. Okay, cool. Peloton. Boring. It's just boring. Let's see the indices. Let's go here. All right, CNBC. Yeah, I like Redfin. I hope, is it down again? because it's just been getting beat to crap. It's like, you bad stock, you just go down. All right, yeah, it's down a little bit, 1.5%. DD jumps on the week amid report over Chinese government taking it over. Wow. Okay. This is a very bizarre photo because this looks like a child, like a 14-year-old taking a selfie or texting. I don't know. And I don't know, it's such an ominous, bizarro picture. I don't even know why we're really looking at it. Okay, let's see what else we got. So, COVID may have killed 15 million people. Wow. That's a lot. That's crazy. What else? Japan's prime minister is unpopular and uninspiring. Well, in California, you got people who don't like inspiration. So maybe he should come here. German voters face bewildering array of possible coalitions, threat from the illiberal left. I did want to read that. I'm not going to read it now, but all right. What else? We did Barron's. We could go to Wall Street Journal. All right. So we talked about jobs, which was a disaster. Let's look at the 10-year Treasury again. It's still sitting up high, 132 right now. Oh, I'll watch. We could watch this on Bloomberg Live. Let's watch this. To watch live, click here. The Labor Secretary. That could be interesting. Hold on.
Do you pick up the phone and have those conversations with him?
Yeah, I was actually with the senator a couple of weeks ago. We were we went to a coal mine in West Virginia, and we had a great day and a great chat. We talked about a lot. And obviously the senator has his ideas and recommendations and opinions, and we just need to continue to have dialogue. I think the beauty about all this is that we continue to have these open conversations. As long as we have two sides willing to have conversations, that's a good process in moving things along.
Do you see it as two sides, though, considering you're part of the same party? And the reason I ask you this, Secretary Walsh, there is a narrative in the media, as you know, that the administration and your administration's agenda is being held hostage by a single senator and maybe a couple to be kind. Is that how you'd characterize the situation?
No, I mean, listen, I'm a former legislator from Massachusetts, and there's often times where I was debating a bill in the Massachusetts House of Representatives with.
Okay. Let's see if they actually get to the point here. By the way, is his audio cutting in and out at all for y'all, or is it just me?
Lots of concerns and opinions on what we need to do moving forward. And I'm supporting President Biden's plan. President Biden passed the American Rescue Plan, and what that resulted in was over 200 million vaccination shots. What that resulted in was investment into childcare. What that resulted in is moving our economy forward, 4.5 million jobs. You know, the president has a plan. The plan is working, and we're going to continue to move down the road on that plan.
What did Senator Manchin say to you, Marty? What was your take on that, Secretary Walsh? What was your take on this discussion?
We didn't get too much into the conversation about the particulars of these bills, but again, I know Senator Manchin cares for his constituents and cares for American people, and again, we just need to continue to have dialogue to move these bills forward.
So you think that is not a hard no, a red line from Senator Manchin, Secretary Walsh, in your opinion?
Well, I'm not going to speak for Senator Manchin. I mean, he certainly is his own person, so we'll see as we move forward here over the next couple of days.
I imagine you'd avoid that question as well, Secretary Walsh. So allow me to put it in different words for you. Your interpretation of his stance currently. For some people, they might interpret his words yesterday in the Wall Street Journal as a red line, a hard no. Was that your view?
I wouldn't say it's a hard no, but what I would say is that we just have to continue to have conversation. Listen, lots of people have different ideas on how we move forward on these infrastructure bills. Some people think that these investments are expenses and we shouldn't be paying this money. All I know is that the investments that in these two infrastructure bills, particularly the CARES economy bill, are very important about moving our economy forward. We've seen now here in America, we're talking about people that are not returning to the workforce. And part of that is lack of opportunity, lack of experience for different paying jobs. People want to get good paying jobs. We need to assist them by making the investment there. It's just like building a brand new bridge in a city or town in America. You build that bridge to get people connected to other locations. We need to continue to build that bridge by investing in job training and other important CARES economy issues.
The Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh. Secretary Walsh, you're kind with your time, sir. Thanks for joining.
This was actually very interesting because he makes this argument that the infrastructure package maybe isn't inflationary if what you're really doing is investing in America by building new things and giving people jobs who otherwise don't have jobs. That's interesting to me. I mean, it makes sense. Intuitively, it makes sense. And you think about that, again, like I say, intuitively. But yeah, that's fascinating to me. Okay, so there's the different sides of the argument, right? Okay, so what else do we have here? So metamaterial, this momentum mover here, is playing momentum. Okay. We got DD, HUD 8, Ethereum. Come on, hit that 4K. Let's go. I honestly, literally the stock that I cannot wrap my head around is Upstart. I cannot understand this run. It is so insane. I think it's way too much. But wow, it's incredible. So, well, good for it. DocuSign running after those earnings yesterday. Also incredible. DocuSign now up 3.63% at 305. Shocker. Especially since it fell after the earnings yesterday. September, October rally. Here we go. We've been talking about it since February. Oh my gosh. Lucid back to 19. It was 1580 in the pre-market when 2 days ago when those lockups happened on the 1st. I do like buying dips on the lockups, but I did not on Lucid. But I've done that before, and I love doing that. So write those lockup dates down. Playboy, Airbnb at 158. Affirms almost back to 100. Let's go. That's incredible. Wow. That's so good. Let's see. Teladoc, United Airlines. United just went green. Hey, lots of things just went green. Okay. Canoe is still sitting in the dirt. What's down? Is there anything to buy the dip on? Virgin Galactic. We talked about Virgin. Beyond Meat has just... Beyond Meat's done literally nothing this year. Nothing. Go back to the beginning of the year. Where is it? January. Okay, January 4th, it closed at 124. It's at 115 right now. Yikes. Hey, ChargePoint rotating down again. So's Lordstown Motors. Oh, what's the breaking news, mister?
Seeing the ultimate number, the August final for market services PMI and composite PMI. We just came off of what was mostly a weak jobs report outside of several areas. And the one I focused on, up 0.6% for average hourly earnings on a month-over-month basis. Yeah. That data series was started in April of 2006. That very first month was up 0.6. Since then, there has been no reads that high until we reached COVID. Pre-COVID, so today's number really historically is significant, and it may feed into that wage inflation spiral, which has pushed yields up from their initial response of moving lower. The number's hitting the wires at 55.1. That's the services PMI. So we take 55.2, the mid-month read, and replace it with the read of 1/10 less. And when it comes to the composite, 55.4 is exactly the same as...
All right, still growth on services, right? Number over 50 is still expansionary readings. Okay. Okay. Lemonade is down 1.2. Build a bear down a little bit. I certainly can't buy the dip on Beyond Meat. I used to like it under 120 like last year before it ran to like 180 and 200. The problem is like their data, their traffic and their sales have slowed substantially with the reopening, which is worth keeping an eye on. Redfin, I wonder if Redfin just moves with rates or with the yields, but that doesn't make sense because sure, we had our bump in yields here. This would make sense. But then yields recovered, and then it never recovered. So just maybe fears that the real estate market must be topping or something like that. That's the only thing I could explain. Wayfair at 271, it always seems to come back to 300, that's in that 10% range right now. So that's one I'm going to keep an eye on if that keeps falling. Pinterest has been stuck around this 55 region. Metamaterials taken off. Upstart is going insane. DocuSign is just rocketing. DocuSign at 4.5% now. This is incredible. Wow. DocuSign, let's go. This is it. Just has been such a killer stock. We've been watching it for quite a while too, and I own DocuSign. So cool. Okay. All right, let's get some more headlines. What else we got? Let's see here. Let's go over here and look at the Wall Street Journal. Back to well, Joseph, good luck. Oh, DocuSign upgraded to 320, I believe that. Don't know anything about Task. No, I'll check that out. Lemonade. I hope Lemonade pulls an Upstart with the car insurance. Hey, yeah, you never know. Yeah, the lending that Upstart. I'm just shocked. So good. All right. So what else do we have? Jobs, iPhone, abortion, storms. All right. So this is interesting, and so is this. So let's take a peek. Hospital swamped with Delta. This is that negative kind of FUD. Remember, FUD is not fake news. If you're coming in with a heart attack, is there going to be a delay in your care? Of course there is. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. That's scary. One of the patients who was in his 50s and on a ventilator with COVID waited 2 days as hospital staff searched for an opening at a larger hospital. Another hospital finally agreed to admit him if Ozarks would take one of its more stable patients in the exchange. We were going to swap, Mr. Taylor said. Our patient died before that was possible. Yikes. So sad. All right. Hospitals. All right. Well, what does bother me is you are seeing children's hospitals, by the way, starting to see an uptick, a large uptick in admissions, which is very sad. What do we got on infrastructure here? Democrats seeking to pass the $3.5 trillion legislation are wrestling over the amount they should pay with tax increases and other policy changes, what should be funded by deficit spending. Well, there's going to be a lot of negotiating to pay attention to, I think, over the next 2 weeks. Nancy Pelosi says she wants to see it totally paid for, which means tax increases. But there's broad agreement. Let's see here. Beyond that, some changes are likely, but centrist Democrats in both chambers have been raising concerns about the breadth of Biden's tax increase proposals. Concern is particularly pronounced towards plans to tax unrealized capital gains at death and raise capital gains tax rates. Wow. Yeah. The effects on family-run businesses. All right, lots of tax debating to happen. Upstart, Microvision doing well again here. Metamaterial just bled out a little bit, but Microvision, yeah, really think this is a. Are we going to see some momentum coming back to Microvision? I still think they should be acquired by Tesla. All right. Good job on the day, though. The day chart looks very nice. All right, let's see here. Oh, some of y'all in the comments are getting the tinfoil hats out about hospitals. I'm not going to read some of these. Yes, realtors are having a hard time to find out. Yeah, I mean that could be the reason, you know. Just less, if you can't find houses, how are you going to make money, you know? That's true. That is very, very, very true. All right, let's see here. How is Corsair doing? Corsair is sitting at about 29 bucks. Hot 8, Metamaterial, Marathon. Okay, DocuSign. All right. We got over here Beyond Meat, Virgin, DQ. Matterport's down a couple percent. Lordstown's down a bit. ChargePoint, Lemonade, a tiny little bit of a dip here. Not anything crazy though. The last 2 weeks have been mostly directionally up with these modest kind of fluctuations here. It's Tesla down like 0.4%. A lot of trading sideways, Tesla. Let's see CNBC here. How are indices doing? So indices have us at all negative now. All the indices are down. All right, let's give this a listen here.
The broader reconciliation bill. Caught in the middle, the state with the worst infrastructure in the nation, which is where our Scott Cohn is coming to us from this morning. Hi, Scott.
Hi, Mike. And you know it, the state with the worst infrastructure is Maine, which finishes dead last in that category of our America's Top States for Business study this year, 48th overall, with the worst power grid in America and among the worst roads and bridges. How bad? Nearly 13% of Maine's bridges are in poor condition, according to federal data.
All right. Sucks for Maine. Here's Tattooed Chef bleeding out a little bit on the intraday. It could be as folks move over to Metamaterial, because this latest pump here on Tattooed Chef, in my opinion, is not fundamental. It is momentum. It's not a diss. It just is what it is. It's worth noting. Metamaterial is also just chilled out on the day here. Could also be that just everything's chilling out on the day a little bit. C3 AI coming back after the after that pain it had after earnings. So nice recovery there after earnings. So I still have my crappy shares that I do have. I was tiny position, but I still have them. Shift under 8 again. Mind Medicine down 1%. Salesforce 262. Can't believe Starbucks and Simon Property Group are where they are. 116 and 135. Some crazy numbers. Still remember during the pandemic. I mean, I guess we technically still are in a pandemic, but it was a disaster. How low they were. All right. Why is there no news? There's got to be some news. All right, what else we got? Fund managers, fuel, heat, and SEC crackdown, oxygen shortage, Rovia. I talked about that. Talked about a lot. I think the only one we haven't looked at is 50% of the people's here favorites. The New York Times. Oh, we haven't looked at COVID cases yet. Let's do that really quick. COVID cases. Okay. Oh, it sounds like Biden's going to come out to talk about the jobs report. It's fascinating. Okay, so what else here? We've got COVID cases at 175. Fourth day in. It's a little bit. It's good to see a little bit of a decline here, so that's good. I did not know that Biden was going to be coming out. Let's see what they're saying over here.
Galactic may not return the Spaceship Two vehicle to flight until the FAA approves the final mishap investigation report or determines the issues related to the mishap.
Oh yeah, Virgin.
Safety. This is in focus for investors in large part because Virgin is looking to do its next flight, a revenue-generating flight for the Italian Air Force. Yesterday, they released a press release saying that they were hoping to do that with some of those details, and they were hoping to do that as soon as later this month or early October. So the spaceship is grounded, at least until the FAA has. There were heavy winds at high altitudes, and the spaceship dropped down slightly below its designated for about 1:41. Its flight path that was designated by the FAA. So for its part, Galactic says that they're working closely with the FAA to support a thorough review and timely resolution of this issue, that no one's safety was at risk. Nonetheless, shares are under pressure.
Right. Although one of the more, as you said, one of the more successful SPAC deals, obviously long past this de-SPACing at this point. When we return, President Biden.
That's interesting that they mentioned on CNBC that one of the reasons they had the flight issues was because of high winds, and the high winds led to this this flight path issue, the warning issues. Obviously, they mentioned that no one's safety was at risk, but very interesting nonetheless. All right, what else? Then we have All right. I agree. Crypto media is still very interesting. Dodgy is an interesting way to put it. All right. So Biden's going to talk soon. I don't know if I'm going to wait live for him because, well, you could wait a while. Otherwise, not much moving. You certainly can get insurance. Life insurance, pet insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance by going to metcavern.com/lemonade. And you can get a free stock worth all the way up to $70 with Public by going to metcavern.com/public. But beyond that, yeah, I mean, look at some of these running stocks over here. Some nice green over here. The indices are all down, but Upstart, Microvision, DocuSign, C3AI, Support.com, Metal Materials, Hut 8, these guys all killing it right here. The favorite of the bunch right here certainly has to be DocuSign. Happy to see C3AI recover, but wow, DocuSign has just been killer. Coinbase 274. Etsy back in the green. We saw we saw it down into the negative earlier. Neo just came back over 40. Tattooed Chef kind of gave up its momentum there, at least for the start of the day. Square up a third. Crypto is sitting right beneath a new sort of breakout level here. Let's see. Yeah, crypto had a nice jump there on the jobs report. 50,700 on Bitcoin. Ethereum sitting at 39,064. And ADA, built on the Cardano platform, sitting at 298. $3. All right. Well, I think that does it. Folks, thank you so very much for being here. Appreciate it. We'll see you in the next video, which might be soon when Biden goes live. I don't know. We'll see whether that's in 5 minutes or 2 hours. All right. See y'all.